All right, welcome people. This is the TBK podcast. Today we got myself Rash and we got Rich. So we're gonna be talking about Canelo. Obviously, he fought a cherry last night, man. I don't know what happened. He's just turning into some greengrocer. Like, you know what I mean? Like he hit the cherry, and obviously the cherry was sweet for him. But so yeah, Richard, what did you make of Canelo's performance?
It was a good performance. He did what he was supposed to do with this level of opponent. Funnily enough, Eubank Jr. was more impressive than Canelo. Eubank Jr. was conclusive with them uppercuts.
Yeah.
Canelo just bullied the man and punched him up, but Eubank Jr. was quite clinical. His work rate is actually a problem. Eubank Jr. if he gets these fights, Canelo is the number one based on in-ring performances. He did what he was expected to. I don't blame him for taking the fight. It was a cherry pick, but it was a mandatory as well. So take the fight or lose your WBC. I can't believe how quick this fight came around because the last piece, the Smith fight was 10 weeks ago. It was 10 weeks. It's not even 3 months. 10 weeks and he's back in the ring. He destroyed his opponent, got him out of the way quickly, and he's fighting Billy Ho Saunders next. So
Billy Joe, yeah.
Billy Ho, he's doing.
Nah, you know what you made? I'm glad you brought up Eubank because I think obviously Canelo operates on a much higher level than Eubank Jr. But yeah. I just feel like if you put like a slow come forward fighter in front of either of them, they're just gonna destroy them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because they're so fast and they're so explosive as well.
Yeah.
Like Eubank's been the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you put someone like slow, who just kind of comes forward and everything, Eubank's gonna look good. But obviously, again, Canelo just operates at a much higher level. His jab's better. Yeah. His punch selection's better. His body shots are better. He uses angles and that's just what he did. Do you know what I'm saying? I think people were saying this is basically a sparring match for Canelo. I swear, Yildrim was one of Canelo's sparring partners for one of his camps.
Yeah,
Yildrim. You know what I mean? So like. And it's like you said, he was mandatory. I don't know how on earth he became mandatory because he lost his last fight against
I can't lie, the WBC is pissing me off because I just think I'm one of the few. I know you are as well on the Dylan White kind of hype train, and they did Dylan wrong, man. How could a man beat 2 former world champs, multiple top 10 fighters, so Rivas, Chisora, and he can't get a title shot, and another man can lose to Eubank Jr., win a fight, lose another fight, and then not fight for 2 years. Mandatory. And then he gets mandatory. It don't make no sense to me whatsoever.
I feel like one of the biggest fighters in boxing as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So you got paid well for that as well.
It don't make any sense.
It's just a bit of it is a bit of a madness, to be honest. But with the quick turnover, I think obviously because Canelo lost a bit of money last year as well with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah, I
think that's why one, it was such a quick turnover, and two, it was such a low level opponent. We saw the same thing with after he fought was it Danny Jacobs? He fought Rocky Fielding not too long afterwards, or was it Golovkin that he fought Rocky Fielding's like?
I think it was Golovkin.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think it was Golovkin.
Yeah, you're right. It was the second Golovkin fight. Then he fought like Rocky Fielding's like a couple months afterwards. And I just thought, so I think he'll do that if he and even that year he missed out on a fight because he tested positive for his clenbuterol. So that's what I think. If he misses out a fight, then he'll probably just take an easy warm-up fight. Whereas I think if it was more spaced out, maybe it would have been a bit more of a challenge. But it's like you're saying, he's going on to fight Billy Ho Saunders, as you're calling him. How do you see that fight going?
I think that Billy Joe has no chance. He's got little to no chance. I think that it's not that he's a bad fighter, and neither is neither any of the Smith brothers, to be honest. And Canelo's walked through them. I think that Canelo is a very experienced fighter in now that he's fought fighters of almost every style, and he has struggled with slick boxers. So I'm not saying he won't have a few problems with Billy Joe Saunders, but
nah, bro, you got to be like, which is it that he has no chance, or is that he's not good? Like,
no chance. I still stand by that. But what I was gonna say is he struggled with some slick fighters, but the slick fighters he struggled with are Erislandy Lara, who's an elite Cuban amateur, and the Cubans, the good Cubans, are very difficult to beat. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's one of the most skilled pure boxers that we've seen. Or
he struggled with Austin Trout as well.
He did, who's another good boxer, admittedly.
But
I
then
don't think that Billy Joel's going to bring anything to the table that he hasn't seen before.
So would you say Arislan Laura is better than Billy Joe Saunders?
He's a better fighter. Not today.
I don't know.
Billy Joe Saunders, he's taken some steroids.
Allegedly.
Him and the Gypsy Queen have taken some steroids.
Allegedly.
The face bands, man. They took steroids. He's beaten his wife. He's beaten Lemieux, and he's beaten Andy Lee.
He beat Andy. That was a good win. And he's beat Chris Eubank Jr. actually.
Yeah, but even the Chris Eubank Jr. I was at the Chris Eubank Jr. fight live. We were in the audience, and the first 6 rounds he scored Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
And then the next 6 rounds, Eubank Jr. won almost all of them. He probably won 5 out of the next 6.
I think I had Billy Joe just winning the 12th round from what I remember.
He gave away 5 rounds. He made it a split decision type of fight. And Eubank Jr. is a very good fighter, but he's a bit one-dimensional. He's a very good one-dimensional. Like, don't go to war with Eubank Jr. because he's a busy fighter with a good power and a good work rate. But if you want to box with him, he can't box with you because he doesn't train boxing. Billy Joe Saunders, he's supposed to be this master boxer, gave away 5 rounds to this man, minimum, which, I think what we're seeing with Canelo now and what we see with all of the greats, Canelo can adapt. So what you put to adapt to it. So he's going to walk forward. He walked forward patiently against Kovalev. Billy Joe doesn't have the jab that Kovalev has. He's not as good as Kovalev. And I just feel like he'll bide his time. Billy Joe will win some rounds. He'll bide his time. He'll walk him down. He'll gas him out. And he'll knock him out. I'm used to seeing Billy Joe in community centre fighting some other local talent. And, I'm used to seeing him blowing out of his ass looking very poor.
No, you're literally not. The thing is, though, I think if Canelo's always struggled with a slick southpaw, and we haven't actually seen him with a slick southpaw for I can't even talk properly. A slick southpaw for years. He's not magically just gonna get better. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know. Obviously, he's been putting in work in the ring, in training and everything. But I just think once he gets there, it's gonna be issues. Because even with someone as flat-footed as Golovkin, you couldn't back him up into the ropes in the second fight. Golovkin
is a very good boxer though.
Yeah, he's got amazing footwork, but that's what I mean. He kept sidestepping him. Do you get what I'm saying? People were saying, oh yeah, Canelo was walking him down. No, he got close to him, but he never walked him. I think Golovkin's back touched the ropes once in the whole fight, and that was in the 10th round. But he just kept sidestepping him. So someone who's not as defensively minded as a Billy Joe was doing that to him. So Billy Joe, who's going to be quite defensive and he's got good footwork, right. I think his footwork's going to give Canelo a lot of problems. But
what really kept him in that fight was his jab. His jab was brilliant.
And his footwork.
Yeah, those were the 2 things. Does Billy Joe have a jab like Golovkin? Firstly, he doesn't have the power off the bat. We know that.
I don't think he's got the jab, but I think his footwork is especially because he's a lot more elusive, and he's a lot more what's the word? He moves a lot more. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think someone with we kind of forget that because Canelo is so complete, he kind of does have bricks of feet. Do you know, his feet are slow. His hands are fast. His hands are fast.
Yeah, they are.
His feet are slow. So when
body movement as well to counteract that.
It's amazing upper body movement, to be honest. And I think he'll hit Billy Joe, and I think he'll do enough to win rounds. He'll probably just throw something flashy. The judges are gonna see that and they'll be like, yeah, cool. Canelo's won that round because it's Billy Joe's already 10 rounds down already.
The way we're gonna look at it is, firstly, I just feel like Mexican beef is obviously better than British uncastrated boar. Yeah, if we're speaking about the gear that these are using, there's levels. And I just feel like he's just seeing a high level of opponent. I think people keep underestimating this. This is why I keep saying that Fury Joshua is 50-50. People are caught, everyone in boxing, all the boxing fans are, last fight, what have you done for me lately? And Joshua in his last couple of fights has been a bit cautious because he got knocked out. Fury dominated Wilder. But what I think, more so than what have you done for me lately with boxing fans, what they really need to look at is consistent level of opposition. And I just think that's what I saw with Dubois Joyce. That's why I knew that Joyce was going to do him. In my head, I knew Joyce was going to do him because I thought Dubois might look more impressive, but level of opposition is dramatically different. With Fury and Joshua, as much as people might not want to admit it, the level of opposition is dramatically different. People will argue this case with me all day, but I just think, without doubt, in my mind, Olympic gold medalist and former world champ Povetkin is a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. He might beat Deontay Wilder today, even though he's in his 40s. He might. It wouldn't surprise me. And this is what I gotta say: level of opposition that people continue to overlook because of whatever allegiances they have. And I just think Billy Joe Saunders, his level of opposition. So his best win, Lemieux, he has lost to Marco Antonio. How has he got like 6 losses? He's lost to Marco Antonio Rubio. He's lost to a whole lot of people.
He lost to that guy that I think Macklin beat him. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name.
He's a puncher. But look, he's lost to a lot. He's not an extremely high level fighter. He beat Eubank Jr. I like Eubank Jr. But again, Eubank Jr. is one dimensional. And Eubank Jr. Who was Eubank Jr.'s best win? Over the hill, James DeGale.
Yildrim.
Yildrim or over the hill DeGale?
Or Abraham, Abraham.
Yeah. And then Andy Lee. Okay, Andy Lee's okay, but did Andy Lee even fight again after that?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. So you're talking about low level of opposition. If you really want to look at Canelo's resume, he's got depth. I like Kirkland. I watch Kirkland fight. I watch El Perro fight. These guys are the lower level guys on Canelo's resume. We're talking about his lower level wins, but those guys are animals, really. They've got decent records. I would pick James Kirkland over Lemieux any day of the week.
I don't know about that, I don't know.
I will pick him any day of the week.
No, James Kirkland lost to Ishida though. Like, it's kind of like Ishida was kind of like.
Listen, James Kirkland with Amble. He was a beast, and then. Moving on from that,
when he had Ann Wolf in his corner, he was a beast. But then, you know what? Like when Canelo fought James Kirkland, I knew. I was like, this guy's like, it was just what round is he getting knocked out in?
Yeah, he's too comfortable.
It was just what round is he going to get knocked out? Whereas I think Angulo was obviously it was his first fight back after Mayweather, so you can kind of you can give him that one. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Moving on from even those wins, which I'm saying of his lower level wins, you've got Austin Trout, like you mentioned. You got Miguel Cotto. These are incredible wins. And then you got Golovkin. You got his fight, even though a loss to Mayweather. He's fought a high level of opposition. He's fought such a high level of opposition. And in the majority of those fights, he's looked very good. Again, Lara, if we were to rate these people on a thing, Erislandy Lara's got to be B+. Miguel Cotto is B+, almost A-. Mayweather is A+, or A+. Mayweather has to be. You got to look at these people. He's fought across the spectrum. What is Lemieux? Lemieux is a C+ at most. We can't give him any more than that. So you can look amazing against poor opposition, but when someone's punching back, it's a different thing. And I just feel like when Billy Joel gets in there and he's used to making people miss, he does his little head movement. When he misses Canelo himself and Canelo stands in front of him and makes him miss, Billy Joel's not going to know what to do. He's not going to know what to do. He's going to want to run back to his caravan.
That's an interesting observation. That's an interesting comment though, because no one really makes Billy Joe miss that much. And like you're saying, Canelo's got that good upper body defense movement. So it's going to be interesting to see how. I'm not really worried about seeing how Billy Joe reacts when he gets hit, because I think to be honest, I think he'll firm it. But to make him miss and then hit him as well, that's going to fuck with him a bit. Do you know what I mean?
I feel bad for Billy Joe's wife after the fight, to be honest, because he's going to be an angry guy when he goes home. He ain't got a chance. He ain't got a chance. It's not happening for him. And you know what the thing is? It's a good fight though, and I feel like going forward, I think if he fights Caleb Plant, that's another good fight.
Would you rather see him fight Charlo?
Charlo, if you fight Charlo's a good fighter. And Charlo's a very good fighter. He's an angry young man, but he's he's got the skills. He's a very good fight. He's a very good fighter.
I just think like a lot of these guys now, like, because I don't know if it's just Canelo's that good that he's just making them look subpar, or they're just not trying. But a lot of the time, even Callum Smith, he didn't look like he was trying that much. You know what I'm saying? Kovalev didn't look like he was trying to hurt him that much. Even in the first Golovkin fight, he didn't look like he was trying to hurt him. So I want to see someone actually. I know, again, it's easier said than done, but I want to see someone go in there and actually try to hurt my man, because in the second Golovkin fight, I think Golovkin was really trying to. Golovkin was trying to take his head off. But in the first fight, it looked like he was pulling punches to me. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
I feel like Canelo, he's got that aura about him.
He's just that good.
I think that you're right. I don't think he's just that good. But I do think he's elite. He's either A or A plus fighter himself. He's elite. I feel like, but he's got that aura about him, a bit like Tyson, wherein people love to discredit Mike Tyson now, but Mike Tyson made legitimately good fighters. Andrew Golota was a good fighter. He just wanted to get out of there. He shit himself and he wanted to get out there. You know, Larry Holmes was a good fighter and he never got stopped before and he never got stopped after. Mike Tyson made fighters get in that ring and want to get out. And I think there's something about Canelo, his aura, his, laid back nature, especially after the Golovkin fight, because people were scared of Golovkin and he approached Golovkin with no respect. And I think some of that fear that people had of Golovkin, it transferred across to Canelo. People are like, now, he's a Mexican and he doesn't care. Like, he's ultra skilled, he's got good power, he's fearless. And I think, people are a bit apprehensive about him. And also, listen, as far as I'm concerned, Canelo is arguably, he's one of my favourite fighters to watch. He could be my favourite fighter to watch. I do like Crawford and I do like White, but Canelo's he's on some good gear. He's on the top. He's on the best gear, Canelo is. And he's like, they don't have the money to compete with him. He's on that Lance Armstrong gear. You know what I mean? He's on that top caliber gear. He's on the high grade. And that's why he's able to have such an easy time. Have you watched that film? What's the film where my man takes the pills and it makes him smarter?
Limitless.
He's on that Limitless. That's what Canelo's on. He's on them Limitless pills. And that's why he's able to work with people. I think.
Right, but before we get sued in that, like these ain't my opinions, but we're gonna end it there. It's been real, people. We're gonna be back soon. We're gonna be more consistent. Like, follow, share, subscribe, all that shit. We're on Instagram, on Facebook, we're on Twitter, on everything. So just like up the thing. And next time, people, we are blessed.
Bless. This has been the TBK podcast.
And this is the TBK podcast.